So my name is Ruth Aniekan Imose, and I am currently living in Sycamore, Illinois.
Okay. How did you end up here in Sycamore?
So I was born in Oklahoma, went to school in Oklahoma, and then came to NIU for graduate school, and just been in Sycamore since.
So you
I went to high school and undergrad in Oklahoma. So I went to University of Oklahoma, and then went from undergrad to here at NIU for grad school.
what did you do? What did you study in your undergrad?
Psychology. I don't know, actually. Well, so I think I've always been, like every psych major says, right? I've always been interested in people, which I have been. And during school, especially in my first couple years of undergrad, I went from being like a chemistry major, so I'm Nigerian. So, of course, like you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, right? So I went from being like a chemistry major to, I think I went to then computer engineering, then architectural engineering, then biology. Then I had like started taking like obviously these like science classes and realized there was a close connection between these kind of foundational classes and psychology. So I just started kind of pursuing that path.
Okay. Come here to the United States.
So I believe my dad came here in the late 60s, my mom in the 80s. So they're both immigrants.
So you're first generation?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Okay. Have you been back to Nigeria or?
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh yeah? Do you like it? Or?
Very different, but yeah, I like it, yeah. Just an entirely different culture, entirely different way of life. Like, when you go to Nigeria, you realize, like, how much structure and order we have here in the United States. And so it's always nice. So whenever we go back, we go to my, like, mom and dad's village, and they're just, like, it's pretty dope. And just, like, the family, there's so much family there. And, like, here, right, so we live in Oklahoma, and we have family around, but it's just very different.
Gotcha. So all of your parents, brothers and sisters, are they still in Nigeria, or are they over here in the States?
Scattered. My mom is actually an only child, but actually my mom's family is probably like the largest. But just like her grandfather had several wives, I think. So she has lots of cousins, and I have lots of second cousins by extension. So
Very explain that.
I don't know. I think that, so there's a pretty common conception of psychologists that they're socially awkward to some degree. So maybe like my just like social awkwardness drove me to like really wanting to understand people and understand kind of the mind and those kinds of different domains in psychology. So, and then especially, I realized that, it would be nice to be like a medical doctor or a lawyer. Those, as I was like taking those classes, like that wasn't where my talent or ability lay, especially those science classes, man. But math.
I took chemistry here, and it was pretty intense.
Chemistry is when I first changed my major. Chem 1. Done. Nah, man. And so, but math, I always could do math. I always understood math. And so, like, just had the heavy statistical, like, foundation of psychology I really enjoy. So, kind of a combination of those two things.
To mention and to kind of tap into a little bit of what you said, is that you said in your Nigerian culture, they tend to lean towards, like, you have to be a lawyer or you have to be a doctor. Why did you say that? Is that something that's kind of like it has to happen, or like if it's not, do you look different on your family, or how does?
Well, we're certainly as a people very like academically driven people, and I think a lot of it is so. We see academics as a way to move forward in life, right? So my dad came here with nothing. He came here to go to school. My mom came here. And actually, my mom is still in school. She has 2 masters, and she's going back to school to get a PhD.
Masters in what?
Nursing. So she just recently, a couple years ago, finished her nurse practitioner and is now doing like a doctor of nurse practitioner, so a DNP.
That's cool. My girlfriend is a nurse, and she wants to be a nurse practitioner.
That's where it's at right now. And so tell her to do it. So we're just like, that's for us, I guess. That's I at least assume that that's kind of the drive behind, like, you have to really achieve to move forward in life. And yeah, I think there is a stigma associated with not being, like, moving forward, and at least in, like, our mind in the academic route, because certainly you can succeed in so many different ways, right? Like, it's not only academics, and I think that to some extent is changing now. Like, I see my, like, Nigerian peers, I guess, really, like, being more creative, like, really exploring more of their creative side than, like, oh, it's always academics. Yeah, so I am, my, like, specific concentration is industrial organizational psychology.
Okay.
So really just the, like, psychology of the workplace. So we study, like, people and organizations. Really, I am getting my PhD so I can give myself options. So, there's a very heavy applied side in IO. So you can go, like, work for a company and help them, like, hire people, or, like, go into consulting. So I do want to explore that, but I also really enjoy teaching. I like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like your sister's class better than my other class, to be fair. But yeah, I enjoy teaching, and I get excited to, like, go to class and talk to my students and interact with them. So I do want to maybe pursue that, but that's why I'm getting this PhD, to just explore my options, see what happens. Oh, my favorite author.
Or book that you've read.
So I guess I have two areas of favorite authors. So I really like Toni Morrison. She's just a really powerful author. I just actually recently reread her book, God Bless the Child. And it's just a really powerful message on, like, self-love, especially as an African-American woman. The girl in the book, she's very, very dark-skinned. So I, like, really enjoy her, and then I read a lot of romances. So I have, like, Susan Elizabeth Phillips is one of my favorite romance authors. Favorite movie, Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar? Okay.
Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan. Quality. I don't know. I always thought that I would want to live, like, overseas, like somewhere in Europe, but Europe's pretty rainy, so I don't know that I would appreciate that climate. But in terms of, like, where I see myself living in the future, I, like, want to move back to the South. I actually really want to live in Texas eventually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so not as exotic as, I don't know if that's exotic, but as, like, adventurous as I originally thought. But I just want to move back.
Do you have any family over there? Or?
Yeah, I do have family in Texas, and it borders Oklahoma, so it's, like, near my family, but it's a little bit more, I guess, like, urban and poppin' than Oklahoma.
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's been coming up for a long time. We just went there, maybe me and my girlfriend went maybe, I want to say 4 months ago.
Oh,
we
yeah.
went to Austin.
Oh, I knew you were going to say Austin.
And it was amazing, you know, like, there's so many young people walking around, like, I mean, obviously the University of Texas is there, and we had the ability to, like, or the opportunity to walk around the campus and, like, go to the stadium. And the stadium is, like, monstrous, and, like, just the food, like, obviously the weather, it was amazing.
Were you there for South by Southwest or, like, a festival or anything?
No, I wish. I want to go one day. But no, we were just there for my girlfriend's brother's wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a little bit. So we stayed a couple days in Austin, and then we went to the outskirts to it's called Dripping Springs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I've never heard of it. There's so many small cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Austin as well. South by Southwest? Yeah. No, I haven't. I've been to Austin City Limits, so it's the one that happens, like, in the fall.
Okay.
I really like that one, but never been to South by Southwest. I also want to go.
For sure.
Oh, I have lots of favorite artists. I would say my, like, genre of music is, like, rap, R&B, hip-hop, things like that. But also lots of people. Kendrick Lamar, I've been listening to him.
Kendrick's sick.
Yeah, have you listened to his most recent album?
I heard, I think the song Humble.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that one, but I haven't heard, like, the entire album.
The album is dope.
I mean,
Drake, Big Sean, Anderson .Paak, Childish Gambino.
Nice.
Really like him. He's just talented.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Atlanta?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cool show. Yeah, just lots and lots of people. And I really like Afrobeat, Nigerian music.
Okay.
So, like, Davido, Wizkid.
I never heard of them, but I'm gonna look into it.
You should. They if you listen to Drake, He does, he's like kind of getting into that like
Yeah.
Afrobeat, kind of like Jamaican vibes,
Yeah.
Caribbean vibes, yeah.
By any chance?
I believe it's called Come Closer.
Come closer.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think I'm more on the we'll see what happens. I hope to be just like more settled, financially responsible, and like not be living like paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just really see what happens. I hope to be like really just like making my way forward in my like like whichever path that I'm on. And maybe one of my ultimate goals, so like, yeah, I want to go maybe work with companies and maybe go like back to teaching and doing research. But ultimately I want to like be able to like work independently. So hopefully in 5 to 10 years, I'm pursuing that to some degree.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Like as I was sitting in class, I was just watching like a Texas congressperson talking about some bill they recently passed in Texas that makes it easier to deport illegal immigrants, and also makes it a punishable crime for police in Texas not to follow those types of procedures for identifying and deporting illegal immigrants, like stuff like that, or even Trump trying to the most recent executive order, right? That in his rhetoric is to divert hiring back to like hire American or something like that. But the idea, so they're reviewing like H-1B visas because they think that companies are misusing policies, and they're just really relying a lot on immigrants and immigrant populations instead of relying more on Americans, which is ridiculous because my first thought is, what is an American? And my second thought is, again in class, this wasn't in class, this was earlier today. I read this article about just the skills gap that we have, and American students aren't as talented and as skilled as people from other countries. But meanwhile, we're like, no, we want to make it harder for people to come to America. We want to make it harder for people who are getting educated in America to stay here and get jobs here, and that's obnoxious and absurd. So just things like that. Gray. Yeah, probably gray. It's just, I like neutral colors. I don't know.
Cool. I like it.
Good question.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I've struggled a lot recently just with trying to make progress and not necessarily feeling like I'm making progress. So things that I find really encouraging are just knowing that if you're like pursuing something, you're pursuing it diligently. You just need to like keep going and keep working hard, and like, you'll eventually see success in whatever that realm is, right? So just like stay in your lane and keep working hard and focus and be diligent.